from the Lakeside Newsroom of the Henrico Citizen, your hometown news source since 2001. This is the Henrico News Minute with publisher Tom Lapis.
Election day is finally here, but how many of us haven't voted yet? We'll have all you need to know about today's election in Henrico County coming up on the Henrico News Minute. It's Tuesday, November 3rd, 2020. Today's News Minute is brought to you by Commonwealth Catholic Charities.
And now for the news.
Well, we finally arrived at Election Day, but how many of us actually still need to vote? Henrico reports that nearly 106,000 of the county's 230,000 registered voters, or about 46%, already have cast their ballots in today's election. Of those who have voted already, almost 69,000 did so in person. Another 37,000 or so returned their absentee ballots by mail, in person, or by drop box. Now there are another 10,420 ballots that were mailed out but had not yet been returned as of yesterday morning. Folks with those ballots will have until 7 p.m. today to return them in person, or they may mail them instead. As long as they're postmarked by today and arrive by Friday at noon, they will be counted. In total, just about half of the county's registered voters submitted or requested absentee ballots. The percentage of voters in each of the county's 5 magisterial districts who did so ranged from 49% in the Varina district to 53% in Three Chopt. Varina led the way with 34% of its registered voters voting in person already. That was the highest such percentage of any district in the county. The Tuckahoe district at 27% was lowest. Three Chopt had the highest percentage of voters who requested an absentee ballot by mail at 25%. Varina was lowest there at 15%. The county's overall turnout may fall just low of Registrar Mark Coakley's original projection that 85% of registered voters would cast ballots. That's according to Coakley yesterday. The absentee vote is massively larger than it was 4 years ago when just 17,000 county residents voted absentee. In that presidential election, about 74% of the county's electorate cast ballots one way or another. Henrico over the years has transitioned from a Republican stronghold to a relatively dependable Democratic one. That reality played itself out 4 years ago when a majority of voters in all 5 of the county's districts voted for Democrat Hillary Clinton over Republican Donald Trump. The closest outcome was in the Tuckahoe district, which Clinton won by just 22 votes among the nearly 32,600 cast there. Henrico is expected to be comfortably in Democrat Joe Biden's camp this year as well. But the 7th District House of Representatives race, which involves the western half of Henrico, where Abigail Spanberger, the incumbent Democrat, is facing Republican challenger Nick Freitas, is expected to be much closer. It's one of the most competitive House races in the nation, and a total of $25 million has been spent on the race to date. On HenricoCitizen.com right now you can read a more in-depth look at the race and how some prognosticators see it playing out. Be sure to also check back with Henrico Citizen throughout the day. We'll have updates from polling precincts in the county, and follow us at Henrico Citizen on Twitter tonight as we break down the results. Now, if you are going to the polls in person today, you should find that there's not much of a wait at most locations. The county has opened a citizen call line at 501-5655 for county residents to report any incidents such as voter intimidation or other issues all day. It'll be available from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. when polls are open. If you have general questions about your registration status or polling location or other voting matters, call the Voter Registration and Elections Office at 501-4347. Well, here's a story that sounds familiar. Transportation Security Administration officers stopped the 17th gun of the year at a Richmond International Airport security checkpoint on Sunday. That total extends the airport's highest count of illegal guns since 2017, when 18 were stopped at checkpoints. And that's even though 2 months remain in the year and about 60% fewer travelers have passed through the airport since the beginning of the pandemic. The gun owner, a resident of James City County, was stopped with a .45 caliber handgun loaded with 6 bullets, including one in the chamber. He also had an additional loose bullet in his carry-on bag. A typical first offense for carrying a loaded handgun into a checkpoint is a $4,100 fine, but it could reach as high as almost $14,000. Sad news in Highland Springs, where a 19-year-old Henrico man was shot and killed in the early morning hours of Halloween. It happened in the 600 block of North Daisy Avenue at about 4:52 a.m. That's when Henrico police responded to a call and found the victim, Javante Tyshawn Montague, lying in the street with an apparent gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, detectives want to hear from anyone who may have heard or witnessed people or vehicles in the area during the overnight hours. Anyone along North Daisy who may have home surveillance systems also is encouraged to call Detective Egan with Henrico Police at 501-5000. You can also call Metro Richmond Crime Stoppers at 780-1000 or submit tips anonymously online at p3tips.com. Henrico County's Department of Public Utilities will host a virtual and in-person job fair from 9 a.m. to noon this Saturday, November 7th. The fair is open to the public. It's free. It'll be held in person at the Public Utilities Operations Center. That's at 10401 Woodman Road. Attendees will have to wear face coverings and follow other public health guidelines. Available jobs involve heavy equipment operation and manual labor in the solid waste division. For more information, you can also visit henrico.us/utility. A strip mall next to Short Pump Town Center has a new owner. Virginia Business reports that the Park Place at Short Pump Center was sold for $10.8 million to Auerbach Park Short Pump from Los Angeles-based Colony Capital. That happened back in late August. The deal closed just a few days ago. The center has 82,000 square feet of space. It's anchored by PetSmart. Well, we're trying something new this month at HenricoCitizen.com. Starting yesterday, when you click on an article, you'll see a link at the top to click and play an audio version of the article. If you'd prefer to listen to the articles rather than read them, you can do so right there. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can email me at Tom, at HenricoCitizen.com and let me know what you think. Today's Henrico News Minute has been brought to you by Commonwealth Catholic Charities. Change the world for a teen who needs you. Become a foster parent. Learn about Commonwealth Catholic Charities' International Foster Care Program today. Call 804-545-5949 or visit cccofva.org to learn more.